The Clashing Conferences Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Clashing Conferences Podcast. We're here with the first episode after the first week of football. Got some real live action to talk about, and then second half we'll start looking forward to week two. But well, first of all, we got Greg representing Philly here, representing the Eagles. We got Dak Dynasty. I guess
The
his
Beast.
name is this week. Our audience can't see that on their screens, but that's what his name is apparently on our
Dak
screens for
Dynasty.
the week. But Randy is Dak
Yeah.
Dynasty representing the Cowboys. We got Paul up there representing the Commanders, and we got Chris Topher Pete representing the Giants. So just a quick recap of week one. We had Philly going down to Brazil and getting a very big win against the Packers. Technically a home game, but that's a long road trip to use as a home game, but you got a big win there. The Giants got beat up a little bit by the Vikings, 28-6. We had Dallas with a huge win.
It's ugly, Greg.
Huge win for Dallas, 33-17 over the Browns after getting a little bit disrespected with that spread, as we talked about last week, coming in there crushing it. And we got the Redskins with a loss, as kind of expected. Everybody said it would happen to the Bucs.
I didn't say
Oh,
that.
you didn't? I'm sorry. I forgot, Randy. Yeah, I didn't forget Nostradamus, actually.
Hey,
We'll get to that in the second half a little bit.
Wait a minute. He picked the Redskins. He did pick them to win.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. Right.
So the Redskins or the Commanders lost 20-37. Quick recap of our internal competition. We had sacks by a single player. Point there to both Philadelphia and Greg, and the Cowboys and Randy. We had was it Brown or Braun?
Braun, our
Braun
linebacker.
for the Eagles, and we had two people. We had Lawrence and Kendricks, both for the Cowboys, get 2 sacks apiece. So you guys each get a point there. As I think everybody predicted, we had Saquon get the rushing yards, 109. Well, actually, I'm sorry.
That.
No. Yeah, let me go back. You're leading me right into this already, Randy. Thank you for the reminders.
Yeah, he picked Robinson, right?
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Did he even play?
Yeah.
All right.
He was out there somewhere. He wasn't the team's leading rusher, but we had Saquon with a very good night with 109, 3 touchdowns. And then for the covers, we had Philadelphia cover the spread. We had Dallas cover the spread. Both of you getting 1 point closer to your season totals as that extra point that I was giving out last week. So we got totaling up. We got Randy at 2. We got Greg and Philly at 3. The other 2 guys don't have any points yet, but it's early. It's week 1.
Early.
Greg, you had one of the 2 very big wins of the week, and you're leading the competition. Why don't we throw it to you to lead off?
I appreciate that, Mike. Hey, before we get started, though, I just wanted to take maybe 3 to 5 minutes. If you guys are all right with this, I kind of want to use our platform for something that I care deeply about. You know, there's a lot of people in life that, you know, you grow up with, you're friends with, you really care about them a lot. And, you know, I've known this guy for well over 25 years, actually probably closer to 30. We've kind of hung out together. We, you know, hung out growing up as kids, played ball at the park, you know, played baseball. Like we've been through it all. And, you know, I see him going through a lot of trouble. And when you see him go through so much pain, you know, and he holds it inside week after week after week, and he just needs to let it out. And, you know, he's absorbing all the pain, and it's just, it makes him spew nonsense.
Took me a minute.
You know, and I want to take this opportunity tonight, and this is for you, buddy. You know, we love you. We want you to let it go. You know, we want you to let the love that you have for this mistake go. You know,
I thought you were talking to Paul the whole time.
We don't have
Stop.
We don't have a budget. We don't have a budget on the podcast to send you to Malibu.
I really did. I
patches.
was like, "Damn, Paul, you all right, buddy?"
I'm
I know you're going to get whooped this week, but
I am.
I'm just saying.
Listen, Chris, it's my turn. My turn.
What you're talking about me? I mean,
listen, we don't have the budget to send you to Malibu. The passage is in Malibu. So let us be your passage. Let us be your Malibu. You know, you can't let this go on anymore. You got to let DJ go, buddy. You got to kick this drug.
It's not time
Like
yet,
we
buddy.
said, you know, anywhere.
It's not time yet.
Just let it go. Let us be your rehab, man. I mean, he has more touchdowns for the opposing team than the Giants since he signed this contract.
Yeah.
I mean, really? Now we have Giant greats, Carl Banks, LT, Tiki Barber, saying it's time to let it go. It's time to hang it up. It's time to give it a break. Go with somebody new. Talking Giants today. He's cooked, says Justin.
Well,
And
don't
guess
worry.
what?
Don't worry about the same thing I'm worried about.
Well, buddy, we're here for you. It's our turn to like
I'm
tell
ready.
you that we love you. You know, we
Love
just
you too,
think that
buddy.
you need to let it go. Listen, we realize what you're going through. You're a poker player. I know you are. It's like you're sitting at the small blind, man. You got yourself 5-6 diamond connectors. You call, you're in. You get 5-6 on the board and a 7. And you're like, oh man, I got a possible straight. I got a possible flush. I got 2 pairs right now.
Got a lot
I
of
am
outs. Got a
all
lot
in.
of outs.
You pushed all in, Chris, only to have runner, king, flop with the guy next to you holding an ace king suited. Chris, it's time to let it go. We are your safe space.
It's too early, buddy.
Listen,
I love
you
the
last
analogy.
week told us that
Here's a
he's a
good one.
top 3 quarterback. I know you're all in. We get it. You are all in. But we're here to let you know that it's okay. You can let us know that you'll support your team and maybe not Daniel Jones. Maybe you let us know he's a top 30 quarterback now, maybe not top 5, top 3.
Play like 31 or 32 on Sunday.
Yeah, I was gonna say week 6 is gonna be like 30, ranked 37th.
Well, he won't make it to week 6 if he keeps playing like that. Like he won't make it. If he plays like that for the next 2 weeks, he'll get plucked. He'll get pulled. But it's way too early to pull.
yeah.
You can't pull it right now.
I agree with that.
He's
It's
not the
cra-
best player. Right, you just said you got to pull the plug now. You can't.
I'm telling you to pull the plug.
Yeah.
You to pull the
As
plug
long
for
as
your
he's in that
love.
lineup, I'm pulling for my boy. Like, I'm not.
Who's Daddy in the chat? He just said Danny Penny instead of Danny Dimes. I thought that was pretty funny. Listen, Chris, I couldn't help but watch Jacoby Brissett in New England go and like revamp that team from what they were with a couple of underperforming quarterbacks last year. And I thought, dang, you could have had Jacoby Brissett. It wouldn't have been that far of a stretch. Again, I don't know. Something's
But
broken.
you mean
in
like
that
what?
guy.
What? When? Well, yeah. He's scared. He played really scared.
I think that's exactly it.
When do we get Brissett though? Do we get him instead of signing him, or do you get him instead of signing Locke? Like I don't know when. Like,
I don't know. I mean,
I got a new bold prediction though. The Browns just got their out for Deshaun Watson today.
Yeah.
Just got their out, another lawsuit, and they could possibly void his contract. Potentially, I'm not a lawyer, but
Yeah,
that's
I
kind
mean,
of the rumors that there's language.
you
could
do have
that.
to understand, Deshaun Watson right now is trying to figure out whether he's a worse person or a worse football player. I still don't think.
And
he's
I would
quite
love to see
figured it
both.
out.
Both need to go to New York. Those dirty New Yorkers.
No.
what?
I
Send
wouldn't wish
Watson
that
to New
on
York
Chris.
after a lawsuit?
No, you don't want that.
No.
I absolutely want that. Why? What team
Am I
are you?
supposed to
rooting for?
rebuttal, Greg, or you want to talk about the birds first?
Listen. I just want to kind of let you know we're here for you.
I appreciate
and it's
that,
okay.
buddy.
I know you pushed all your chips in, and
I'm
for the
still
last
in.
for
It
the
ain't
last
over
2
yet.
years, the love for Daniel Jones has been off the charts. And for the last 2 years, we've all told you, settle down.
And what did I
settle
tell
down.
you?
Oh, it's the offensive line. Oh, it's the running back. Oh, it's this.
Yeah, it wasn't
it's
the running
that.
back. It was the offensive line a lot last year. That's why he threw so many picks and had all these bad performances.
What was it Sunday?
That's the problem. Sunday, the line actually played really well. Andrew Thomas didn't give up anything. He was more responsible for the sacks that he was sacked. Like the line played really well, and that's a good sign for me. I'm happy about that. He played bad. The play calling was awful. I was texting you guys. I don't understand. Like I think after the first quarter, he had more design runs than our running backs. Like the play calling was bad. There was some dumb things that happened throughout that game early, like the pass interference call on Adoree. Terrible call. That set them up to take the lead 7-3, but we couldn't do anything offensive. Our offensive scheme was awful. It's a lot on Dable. It's a lot on Jones.
What do you think this means for Dable?
I don't know. I don't know. He took it on the chin. He said it was him. I heard the thing about the Giants greats. They are all saying that. But I also saw a lot of people saying that pick six, and I don't agree, so don't hammer me. They said that pick six is not on him. They said that's totally on Dable. That was a terrible play call. It was a terrible everything. And I heard Brandon Jacobs saying, I heard Carl Banks say it.
I don't know how you can put a pick six on anybody other than somebody on the field. You can't put a
Bobby
pick six on the sideline.
You brought Bobby Skinner up. He could break it down for you. I can't. But to me, he kept the ball so many times. Keep the ball there. But here's my theory on Daniel Jones, right? I told you that. That was my fear. My fear was that he was either going to get hurt or they broke him.
He's broke.
This is by far the worst I ever seen him play. The other time was against the Raiders last year before he got hurt. Even in that Texans preseason game after the 2 picks, he played well, but he wasn't.
Who was that against?
I know. I understandable. They're not completely. It was a little mixture, but still, it's just not over yet for me. You can't pull him out yet. It's way too early because he's better than Drew Lock. He's better than DeVito. I blame Dable a lot because of the play calling, and you got to get him comfortable. Sometimes I texted Mike. I said, man, maybe they want him to get hurt. Maybe they feel like if he gets hurt, they're set up pretty well in a lot of other places. Maybe if he gets hurt, they tank. It's not nobody's fault. They draft a quarterback. You know what? I thought they were going to come out like Josh Allen. So this whole offseason, I know Dable's responsible for creating this Josh Allen. That's what everybody likes to say. I thought they were going to go out there and say, we kept him. There's no excuses. We're just going to sling it. We don't care how many picks he throws. It's your job to lose or win, buddy. You got to go out and do it. So I thought they were going to be super aggressive.
Oh,
they were talking
losing that, all right.
They didn't do anything, man. Like they didn't do anything. They had no passes downfield over 20 yards. The play calling was terrible. Daniel Jones was missing people. He was throwing the ball at their feet. He was throwing people. They said that. Remember, I was telling you about our tight end. Bobby said something today. I was listening to him. He said if Daniel Jones would have made good passes at him, he would have had 55 yards and maybe a touchdown. Theo Johnson. Neighbors still had 5 catches of 66 yards. He was still the best receiving rookie of the week. And then I was looking at like player stats. I mean, I know Daniel Jones played awful, and I'm not doing this to credit him, but there was a lot of quarterbacks that struggled. A lot.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of quarterbacks that were in the 93 yards, 100 yards, 140 yards.
A lot of rookie
quarterbacks. Here's the
Dak
thing.
Prescott only had like 100 and some yards.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones is.
There was a lot of people that had 100 and some yards. I mean, like 140.
I guess my point is Daniel Jones is in his 6th year.
Yeah, dude. There was a lot of new, and I knew it was going to take a while. That's why I was like hype on the schedule. I admit it. If they don't win, if they don't beat this game, if they don't win this game this week, there's not too many games on the schedule they're going to win. Maybe Carolina. They got to get better. They got to fix it.
The Germany game
got beat. This team got beat 40-0 the first game of the season. They ended up winning 6 games. They could have won 8. There was 2 games they just blew out of dumb plays by Tyrod or just. I remember talking to you about it. The Jets game was one. There was another one. It was just poor execution, poor play calling. So at the end of the day, games with trash. They beat you 27-10 the last game.
So what I'm hearing at the end of the day, this intervention didn't do shit.
No, it didn't. And I think we should move on.
It's not even that, guys. It's not even that.
Monopolizing the time again.
You attack me. We got plenty of time to talk about your games.
It was support. It was total support.
It was love and support.
It was a dig. It was a dig.
It was not a dig.
Oh, hell no. Yes, it was.
All I want to say, Chris.
We did not talk about this.
I'll finish this and we'll move on. I told you I needed to see him with a number 1 wide receiver and a good offensive line. I've only got to see that for 1 game. I do agree if he continues to play this way for the next 2 weeks, you got to yank him. It's not over yet, fellas. We could come out this week. For some reason, last week, he said something about an Avenger.
Well, you just answered my question before
he just said something about an Avenger. He might turn into an Avenger this week for some reason when he sees that ugly maroon and gold.
I mean, he could.
Why in your head you think this?
And then we could be 1-1, and the world is good.
I'm no longer going to let you say that you're just going to wipe the floor with us. You are.
I didn't say we're going to wipe the floor with you. You always take it to the extreme, like Greg does. I said we're going to beat you. It could be by 1. It could be by 10. We're not going to lose this game this Sunday.
Yes, you are. You are going to lose this game.
You realize how good Minnesota is?
Yes, you made Sam Darnold. Forget about the offense. Your defense made him look like a god.
Oh, we had no pass rush, and you don't think them guys ain't going to be a little bit? It's going to be a different story this week.
They quit. What do you mean? They look across the field and they see Daniel Jones as their quarterback.
They didn't quit week 1, dude. They didn't quit week one. The game early on, they were in this game. Thibodeau didn't do nothing. Burns didn't do nothing. Dexter Lawrence played great.
I think I'd like to
Andrew
start off.
Thomas played great too, by the way. If you guys, he didn't give up nothing.
Yeah, nobody
It's
cares.
like
So,
PFF highest rated left tackle in the
Andrew
league.
Thomas means it's the end of your time.
yeah,
So,
I'd like to
Okay,
start.
Chris.
Best
I'd
left
like to-
tackle in the league.
I'd like to
just I wanna be clear that 2 more weeks at Daniel Jones, you say we're getting.
I no, that's not what I said. I
If
said
he plays
continues-
bad, if he
if
plays bad, you're ready to give
dude,
up on Daniel Jones.
If he plays like
in
this the next 2
September.
weeks,
In
listen.
September, you're willing to give up on Daniel Jones.
and that's where I'll agree with Greg. I love the Giants more than any player. This ain't about loving him. I think he can do it. He looks shook right now. He looks like a totally different player right now. I'm putting it on my coach. I believe in my coach. Go out there and get this game plan right. This team has a rookie quarterback. They're not that good. Their offensive line stinks. You got a good defensive pass rush. Take care of business. Get a win. Get him some confidence. And let's move on to Cleveland. That's
Well,
what
Can't
I'm
wait
saying.
for next week.
Greg,
That's what I'm saying.
I think, because the intervention was more about Daniel Jones, I think, than the Giants. I think it was a
Yeah.
success.
Maybe. I think you're
Oh.
right.
No, I've been
I'd like
telling you
to-
guys from
I'd
the
like to
jump. I'm
start
going to
my-
call it like it is.
I'd like to start my segment with an analogy.
But real quick before you do, let me just, as we close out the Giants segment, let me remind the audience that all 4 of these fools
100%.
picked the Giants
Thank
last
you, Michael.
week to win their game.
That's
So
right.
we can come on here
They
in
should've.
retrospect.
Call me as
and
dumb as you want.
No,
You
they
thought they were
shouldn't
gonna
have.
smoke 'em
I showed
too.
you my bet. I sent my screenshot. My money was where my mouth was. Giants was getting crushed.
And just
My
for
bet
that,
of the
now you
week.
got to start telling us your picks, Paul said.
So
You did put your money, but you said it was free money, so you weren't really scared anyway.
No,
You were
no,
like,
no.
"Ah."
That was real money. It was a boost. So I got an extra. I used my only boost of the
All right,
week
all right. I
on
thought
the
it was your
Vikings.
free money. I was
Nope.
going to ask you. I thought it was your. All right, buddy.
So what's the
All right.
difference between Daniel Jones and a 4-piece nugget and Happy Meal?
What
Neither of them
is-
throw touchdowns. None of them can read a defense. But a 4-piece Happy Meal definitely makes you happy, and Daniel Jones makes some people sad. What I think you need, Chris,
This is a terrible joke.
is a
That was a
4-piece
terrible
is a
joke.
4-piece McNugget Happy Meal. I think for the new animated Transformers movie, they're giving away those toys. I think you should hit yourself, even upgrade it to the 6-piece one if you're feeling
There you
right.
go.
Dude, I need
Almost
I need,
as good as the poker analogy.
I need
Yeah.
a 20-piece right now after that game. 2 weeks,
Yeah,
2
you
years
need-
in a row. It sucks, man.
All right.
so-
Well, listen, we went over my 5 and now we're at 17. So let me be quick and just do a quick recap. Trey, our loyal listener out there, I want to thank you, buddy. Starbucks tasted absolutely
Hey,
amazing
now.
Monday.
Thank you, Trey.
Good dude, Trey. You're a good dude. You honor your bets, and we appreciate that. So the game in Brazil, it was sloppy. It wasn't great. I think our defense, our secondary played okay. I thought Jordan Love missed a lot of throws. I don't know why Trey got mad at me. I think on paper, the Eagles are a great team. On paper, I think we're good. I think we can beat most teams in the league on paper. So Trey got a little upset with me saying that we were better than Green Bay on
Just
paper.
because they had a lot of problems last year, and Green Bay finished
Yeah.
pretty strong last year.
I mean,
I agree.
but
Jordan
Greg,
Love didn't play nothing like Jordan Love.
Greg, I see the same thing I seen from last year. Is you guys very easily could have lost that game. It wouldn't have
and-
taken.
Nope, agree.
Thank God you had Saquon,
Yeah, we'll
Sure.
talk about that in a minute.
because your quarterback sucked.
Oh, our quarterback. Yeah, almost as bad as Daniel Jones, right?
No, but he sucked. He had 2
Okay,
bad
all right.
interceptions and a fumble, dude. If he
He
does
did.
that against San Francisco or Dallas, he loses.
Exactly.
And then you guys want to overreact over 1 week. All right, I'll overreact over 1 week. None of our teams
Daniel
are beating
Jones
Dallas.
has been doing this for
None
2
of our teams
years,
are beating
Chris.
Dallas.
Whoever this daddy guy is cracking
Lewis.
me up.
It's Lewis. It's
He
our
is
man-
ripping on. He's ripping
It's our
on
man
you, Chris.
Lewis.
Oh, it's
He
all good.
is not on the Daniel Jones or the Chris Peterson train whatsoever.
Oh, me and Lewis are cool, but we hate each other's teams.
It looked like somebody's throwing a shout out to the Diddy Diggs ball too.
Well, if I can make my point here in a minute.
Did I
Go
hear
ahead,
that
Greg.
word?
Finish up.
So anyway, we all know Dallas looked good. Dallas looked really good. Dallas right now is playing well.
But
They
your
paid
guys'
Dak.
bet, you all said they sucked. You said there was no way. You said Dallas was. You said that was the money. That was free money.
I did. I honestly thought I really think that Cleveland and Watson was going to show up? No, I didn't. I
you were
thought
scared because you wouldn't bet Randy.
I did. You're
You
right.
don't
I didn't
ever bet
Randy.
anybody on your team, so I don't want to hear it.
I don't bet. I'll bet you something like stupid, like a jersey or something. I'll bet you're like, I'll wear a jersey, you wear a jersey.
Oh, I thought you meant get each other one. I was
No.
I'm not wearing your stupid jersey.
You
What's
probably got
wrong with you?
Giant. I don't have
I do
any
have a
Washington
Giants.
ones in
We
my.
already talked about
Yeah,
this.
no. You probably got 5 Eagle ones too.
You guys are
Eagle
out of
fan.
control.
Not anymore.
So anyway, what I was saying, it's
Hate
clear
Commanders
there's 4 or
Not
5 teams,
anymore.
in my opinion, in the NFC that could make it, that are going to be good. I think there's some teams that raise some eyebrows. Is the Saints that good? I don't know. We'll find out.
Randy
Is
said their
Carolina
car.
that bad?
Randy said Carr sucks and they needed a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean they look pretty
Still
good,
think
but
Don't
then
they play
again,
them this week? Is that who they play this week?
oh.
All right.
So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I'm not even going to talk about. The Giants and Washington actually surprisingly played decent. I thought they played pretty well. I mean, I think their offense runs through their new rookie quarterback. He's got to be careful or he's going to get hurt early.
Yep, I'll get to
That's
that.
going to be the problem. So, I honestly will talk about it next after halftime, but I think the game is actually going to be entertaining with the Giants and the Washington Commanders. I think it's going to be a
Agreed.
decent game. I wouldn't have said that last week, but I'm going to say that this week. So next week's podcast is going to be much. Tune in. It's going to be great for sure. Someone's going to be upset. What do you think, Randy? What do you got going on with those Cowboys?
Well,
We'll
Paul,
find
I
out
know
who the
you-
worst team is in
Paul-
this division, I guess.
Yeah,
Paul,
we
you've
will.
been waiting to talk for a while. Go ahead.
Randy?
Did we
Yeah,
lose you?
Paul, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, we can now.
Paul, you were waiting to talk. Go ahead. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi.
Okay. I appreciate that, Randy. So I was really stoked about our game, actually. I really like the quarterback play. I got to tell you, though, he needs to learn how to baseball slide because sliding head first, and it's not even a head first slide. It was actually like a barrel roll, like he's just going to get himself hurt. I like it that he was very elusive. I mean, just like how Vic started, how like Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, all those quarterbacks start. Everybody catches on. So eventually he's going to get caught. And I already said he got beat up a lot in college. And these guys are a lot faster and hit a lot harder. So he needs to learn how to slide appropriately and in enough time as well. Because I don't need him sliding back and like him getting one of those helmets to the face and snaps his head back on the ground. But I was really impressed. He made no bad throws, no bad decisions, which was really good for a rookie out there to come out like that. No turnovers, anything like that. Chris said it last year.
2 touchdowns. He rushed 2 in.
They need to find a way to get Terry involved. He might as well have just been sitting on the sideline. I think they said like the person who ran the most yards per yards, I think was Marvin Harrison Jr. It was like 1,100 yards for like
4
yarders.
Yeah, 1 reception for 4 yards, and I think Terry was right there behind him. They just aren't on the same page yet, but I think everything looked great. I like how Austin Eckler looked. He wasn't the Austin Eckler from a couple of years ago, but he's still doing those same things. He's still catching those passes. He's a great passing back. I was really hype after this game, to be honest. I was a little leery about what was going to happen, but I was really happy. Going into Tampa Bay, I mean, it's not the easiest place, but it's not the hardest place to play either. But they were a playoff team last year. They didn't lose a whole lot of people. They have a lot of veteran people on defense. And
Baker
I thought
played well too. I mean, he did
Baker
play
played
well.
out of his mind. I'm
Yeah.
going to give him credit, but I don't want to
That
say it was.
that surprised me to death.
Yeah, I mean, I have Jordan Love on one of my fantasy teams. I'm going to pick up Baker for this week. I'm hoping to.
Everybody
But-
put in your waiver claims.
My daughter got him in Mahomes, and she was like, I should have played Baker. I said, hell, you're never going to play Baker over Mahomes.
No,
You're just
yeah,
never going to do it. I know it looks like it, but you're never going to do it.
No, but I was really happy, and I mean, I enjoyed the Eagles Packers game. I was really torn of who I really wanted to win because I want Trey to get more wins during the year than the Cowboys. But I also
Looking forward to my coffee, Trey.
right, but I also didn't want us to come onto this podcast today and the Cowboys be the only winner of the week. I didn't want to hear that either. So I think we got kind of medium of both worlds, we'll say. I'm not going to even say. I'm not going to say anything about the frickin' Giants game, but I'm going to say this. I have sort of sort of analogy, but I don't know where that name Topher came from. Chris, you may have said it before. I really didn't bother listening to it. You gave the name to yourself. I don't think you saved a bunch of like kittens from a burning building or anything to earn that or
I'll tell
anything
you where
like
I got
that.
it.
No, you don't have to. It's fine.
Yeah, I will.
But I got a new name for you, and I want to take it's going to go back a couple episodes of the baseball podcast when we talk about a TV show about a nice suburban Philadelphia family called the Goldbergs. You, my friend, will from now on be known as Beverly Goldberg.
Beverly Goldberg.
She is so obsessed with her kids, they can do nothing wrong and will fight to the death for anybody who crosses them in any way. And I'm going to give you just one quote that's going to.
It's a good show.
Yeah, of course it is. I'm only going to give you one quote that's going to solidify this. So she's like, all right, I know I'm your mother, but I can say without bias, you are an Adonis, made from marble, sent to us from heaven to be scrumptious. If that's not you talking about Daniel Jones, I have no idea
I knew I was
what
coming.
is. I have no idea what is.
Hey,
it's not a dig.
I support.
It's part of the
the
Oh
Giants.
man,
I'm loyal, like Mike told you from the day one when I met you. I support the Giants. So whatever quarterback they throw in there,
but
I'm
his
gonna support
mom
it.
doesn't even think he's that good. His mom doesn't even like him as much as you like him. You are
Jones?
yes. From here on out, you can call yourself whatever you want.
I would love to
You're
see
gonna
him
be
have a big
Bevy.
week after that.
You're gonna be
Them
Bevy.
assholes stood there and booed him and waited
Bevy.
for him to come out. That was rude.
Oh man, what bunch of jerks!
That was
Like,
Russ
I
yelling,
booed
"You
in the
suck."
stadium and I did all that, but once you do that, that's awful. Like he's a
Did
person.
you go around in the parking lot and pick up all the burning jerseys and save them?
My buddy laid his down. He was mad. Jim, when we walk out of B, we come out of the tunnel to go to our car. Reds is there picking people up. My buddy Jimmy was so mad. He took it off and laid it down and told the people to wipe their feet before they get on the bus and left it. He did. He left it there.
Hey,
He was
Chris,
hot.
Someday I hope for that for you, Chris. I hope you can wipe your feet of Daniel Jones and move on. And guess what? I'm not going to sit here and not hold you accountable for all the bull crap you've been spewing for 2 years on Daniel Jones when you do that.
6 years. What do you mean 2?
I've only
6.
heard it for 2.
I still think he has the ability. It's right now. It's all up here.
God.
He don't have the right mentality.
Then that means he doesn't have the ability.
My coach, he has the ability. He has the arm strength. He can make the throws. He can do all that. He's done it already. He just something's wrong. Something ain't right. And my coach.
So does Uncle Rico.
That's what people
Uncle
say.
Rico
Who
has
are
the ability
paralyzed.
too.
We've
That's
been
what
telling
people
him
say who are
that for
paralyzed.
years.
I was like, I used to be able to walk. I just can't do it anymore.
Chris,
He can't walk. He's paralyzed.
we've been telling you there's something wrong for 2 years, and you've said no. You're
Hasn't even
finally
been
seeing
2
it.
years.
It has. Ever since last season, before the season
It's still
started,
not 2 years. It's a
said,
year and a podcast.
Whatever. You said top 3. We're like, no way.
He needs to put his name on the
I
list.
said he's capable of putting them type of numbers up.
He needs to put his name
and
on
we
the
were
list.
like, no way.
Yeah, on the list of Lewis's charity that he supports, Iron Leg. He needs a new leg. He definitely needs a new arm, and he needs a new set of eyes. And this time, not so close. Let's get them farther apart. How about that?
All right.
And some new stones. How about that?
All right.
There's that dumb shit.
I think that might be us.
Did Randy finish?
Yeah, you
No,
know,
no,
guy.
Randy.
You have nothing you want to brag about?
No,
Nothing
I
you're
do.
good?
I do.
Say, you should.
So
should.
I heard an interesting stat. I didn't even know. The Cowboys are the only team the last 3 years to have 12 wins or more every season for the past 3 years, and it's interesting. Like you
How many playoff wins they have in that span?
1.
Yeah.
But it is interesting.
Would you have Kirk
look at-
Cousins out there playing?
It's interesting. All I'm saying, dude, is it's interesting because, again, I wasn't at all surprised by this week's showing. This has become Dallas's normal start. They start out very good, and they're usually pretty good throughout the season. You know, towards the end, things tend to taper down. But, you know, I do feel like we're going to be a high-flying team. I can't say I'm real excited about the huge amount of money we're giving away to 1 or 2 players on this team, but you know, for this season, we're kind of all in. I mean, you know,
I think you're about to give it to a third one too. Micah already said he wants to be a Cowboy for life. So
yep.
But
to make that
that's all
happen, you're
good.
gonna- You'd have
That's
to
all
bring a
good, but
freight truck.
we're paying almost half our salary cap to 2 players right now.
Micah
It's
Parsons is a beast, man.
I
know we all
would
know that,
love
but-
to keep Micah Parsons. I'm just the amount of
Not
money
gonna
we're
happen.
spending on CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott is I don't think it's matched in the league with 2 receivers and a quarterback on any other team. It seems outrageous to me. But again, it's working, and I guess as long as it works,
But is
it's
it
not a bad
working?
move. I mean, it worked last week, that's for sure. So again, time tells. Are they going to put it together in the playoff? I don't know. All that being said, is yeah, we had a good week. Greg, that game could have gone either way. Green Bay's not a bad team, so I don't want to sit here and take anything away. But I don't think was the
Trey's
most.
Trey's going to scream at you for saying they're not a bad team. They're a pretty good team.
They're okay. They're okay. Again, I
Troy
don't know.
Love's out now. How long is he out?
I don't know.
Before.
That could really affect my free coffees coming up for the next 6 months too. So
They didn't put him on IR. They refused to put him on IR. So
Yeah.
I guess they're thinking less than 4.
yeah, someone
Wow.
just commented 3 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, I mean, in general, I was wrong on a lot of your games. I thought all 3 of you would win, or I'm not even really sure what I said on your game, Greg, but I thought Chris and Paul would both win. I still think Tampa Bay's overrated, but I did see Washington towards the end of that game showing a lot of grit and continuing to march up and down that field, at least trying to make it a competitive game. They never really gave up. Chris, I don't think your Giants are as bad as what the
They're not.
performance was. I do think they gave up, and I think that's what you see. And not that that's a bad thing. It's just in the end of it, when you're not going to win, I think that's a pretty tough thing to overcome. Again, if Daniel Jones or some other quarterback can find a way to get it to those receivers, they are skilled players. So,
And they're all on your waiver wire waiting to be picked up, except for Neighbors.
That's
Hyatt
my
looked good.
piece.
Well,
I had to do nothing either, but Neighbors look good. He's going to be fine. He was open a lot too. He'll be all right. He's going to be good.
it's funny that during your piece you mentioned that you couldn't remember what you picked for Greg's game. I'll remind you. It was Green Bay.
Well,
Good.
Nostradamus.
What's the
You went
opposite of
You went
Nostradamus?
from week 1 last year to, I don't know if you got any game right but yours. You also said last week that Bo Nix is the new Drew Brees.
He will be. Give him time. He didn't look
stop.
horrible.
You said San Francisco is on the decline.
They will be.
They look good
It
The one you got right,
without
and
McCaffrey.
I think probably the only one you care about. You said Dallas was going to get those 11 wins, so they're well on their way. They're looking good. Good start for you. Good start for Greg. We got a long way to go for all 4 of you, though. We'll take a break. We'll be back in the second half, and we'll start looking forward to week 2.
Go Birds.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of Clash and Conferences football podcast. In the second half, just a reminder, we'll spin our wheel for our internal competition. We will get some predictions and some picks from all these guys for the week. Hopefully, we can do collectively as a group a little bit better than we did last week. I think Greg was fairly respectable on his picks and predictions, but you other 3 got some work to do. So we'll see if we can get doing a little bit better there. And just a reminder, we had 2 points for Randy and Dallas. We had 3 points for Greg and Philly. We got none yet for Topher or Paul, but it's early. We're going to get our wheel up. We're going to get 3 new categories for week 2. Let's spin it for the first category of the week.
I'm loving the chat, by the way. Celebrating the Cowboys win is like celebrating hunting in a petting zoo. Gotta
Hey,
love it.
I'd do that.
Longest
That's what I felt like, shooting fish out of a barrel.
team total.
What the heck?
Does that include pick sixes? Like if you throw one in the end,
Yeah,
in
that's
the end zone
anybody
there,
on
Chris?
your team.
Well, hold on. Longest touchdown team total could be longest touchdown any player. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
correct.
mean. It's
Yeah.
just
Ooh.
Touchdown. That's a good one. Is that
That is
new
a
That
this
good one.
year?
I
is
ain't
a
winning
good one.
that.
Yeah.
I said I'm not winning that. We haven't scored a touchdown yet this season.
Daniel Jones threw some
Not for
picks
your
for
own team.
touchdowns.
Not for
Yeah.
your own team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll let them count.
Man,
we
we
gotta
love that
spin that
long.
again.
We love
Yeah,
that.
spin that again.
Hey, Steven, this time you're allowed to spin the wheel one more time. Unlike the baseball podcast where I give you crap for it. You go ahead and spin away, buddy.
We got to do something about those colors on
That
the team
sucks.
total.
No, that's nice.
We're gonna
Rushing
do
yards.
rushing yards.
We had
Team
that same
total.
one.
Hey, team total. That means
Oh.
committee running backs.
There
You
we
had
go, Chris.
45.
And
You
a
had
quarterback
Chris.
that can run.
You had
I
45.
was already going to point out, Chris, when you
Yes.
were a little bit unhopeful on touchdowns team total, that last week you were very upset about the Giants being plus 1.5, said it was disrespectful, but then got very excited when we did the wheel spins and said, I quote, "I must be delusional because this all looks good to me." And then got 0 points. So
And then got 0
when you,
points.
when you came out and said, "Hey, this doesn't look good to me for team touchdowns," I was like, "Oh, maybe Greg's thing worked. Like he's really
Worked.
come back down to earth." But then we hit rushing yards, and it's running back by committee. Let's go.
3 for 45. Not one person. 3 running backs for 45 yards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it was
great.
bad, man. The whole game there was nothing good. Like I said, the only good thing I could come up with was we play you next week.
Let me
And
give you
neighbors,
guys.
and-
Let
Sure.
me give you guys one more thing, and then I'm gonna release you guys. The spreads for this week. We got a very, very big interconference game. We got the Giants going to Washington. Washington's favored by 1.5. Chris is plus 1.5. I think that seems pretty fair for being on the road in a home game there. Seems to be a pick 'em otherwise. We got Dallas at home against New Orleans. Dallas is favored by 6.5. And we got Philly at home as well, going against the Atlanta Falcons, also favored by 6.5. So that's our spreads for the week and our matchups for the week.
Hey,
I
would you
think.
guys say the Falcons are worse than New Orleans?
Uh-oh. Randy's got his
would
spread
you?
analysis again.
I'm just curious because the spread's the exact same. They're both playing at home. But I would say New Orleans is leaps and bounds better than the Falcons.
by
I
last
think-
week's game.
Therefore, the Cowboys are better than the Eagles.
Therefore, the Cowboys are better than the Eagles. I mean,
The Dallas Cowboys played way better than the Eagles last
I
week.
love your analogies
Saints-
like that. That's so Chris-like. You guys
Saints
like? Do you
played
think
the
Trevor Lawrence is a
Panthers.
good quarterback?
hey, Trevor Lawrence
Oh,
looked
not
like he was
anymore.
earning his money last week.
Oh, man.
Why don't we let Randy start off since apparently he got shortchanged in the last episode?
All right.
For the
Well,
last
I'd
segment.
be happy to. The dominant Cowboys, who didn't need to throw, which is why they only had 150 yards and did everything right, should dismantle the Saints, whether they're at home or at the Saints. Again, this is Dallas primetime. We do phenomenal the first 10, 12 weeks of the year. It's the last 6 and then the start of the playoffs that get a little bit rough. But I can't see us losing this game. Giants Commanders. Right now, I think that it would be foolish to take anyone but the Commanders in that game. I feel like this could be the deciding
They
game
call
for
me foolish.
I feel like this could be the deciding game for Daniel Jones. I feel like if he flops again, Chris, maybe even you will be stepping on his jersey outside of a football game.
Chris
3
is
weeks,
giving them
buddy.
2 or 3 weeks. Don't
3
take-
strikes, you're out. 3 strikes, you're out.
And the Eagles Falcons, unfortunately, what a bunch of underperforming freaking Falcons. They're boring to watch. I don't know. I didn't expect Kirk Cousins to come in. I guess he's got the same, the torn MCL, right?
No, he had Achilles. He looked flat
Achilles.
though. He looked
He
so
looks
bad.
so terrible.
Yeah.
He's
But-
old.
But no, I mean, in the end of it, guys, I don't know. The way I seen all those teams play, I cannot fathom, unless somebody gets hurt in Dallas, anyone really challenging us. I mean, I would go as far as to say the NFC right now, I do think San Francisco is going to fall apart. I know Philadelphia and Green Bay are above average teams, but Dallas had a commanding win. Really, only let it get close at the end in junk time. Not even close. Within 20 points. That they won by 17. I mean that game could have been, if they wanted to, got very, very ugly very, very quickly. And again, it's how we started last year too. But again, if I'm looking at the talent right now, well, I'm sorry, Eagles. I don't think you're gonna hold much up to us right now. I don't think you guys are even. I don't think there's much in the NFC that's playing to our level right now. Now, I can change in a couple of weeks. Like I said, this contract stuff, a lot of times can end up looking awful, but it looked pretty good.
Good.
For,
You overpaid $20 million. When if you knew you were going to pay him, why not pay him and save yourself some money?
So, Greg, I'm 100% with you that we overpaid him. But if he keeps playing like this, I don't think we overpaid him.
I just use the analogy. I think, and I'm going to take heat for it, but I'll do it anyway. I think Howie Roseman, it just proves that he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Like,
Greg, we went further than you in the playoffs. I mean, we beat the division last year.
Well, what I'm saying is,
you
had the
saying we're playing
opportunity to
chess,
sign
but your
these
team
guys.
doesn't look as good.
We were just in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Randy.
No, I mean,
we signed all our players
this week.
We got the W. We went to Brazil. We played on a sloppy field.
We talked about last year when you kept getting the W's.
Yeah, I guess what I'm pointing out is why overpay for somebody and then make the other people on your team pissed off. So now you have Michael Parsons, who wants to be a Cowboy.
But you're talking about a quarterback. You have to pay the quarterback.
I know, but my point is, why not? If you're going to pay him and you know you're going to pay him to save your money up front. Do it last year. Don't drag it out. You know you're going to pay CeeDee Lamb. You ended up overpaying for both of those guys,
Greg,
because you didn't get it with them when you wanted to.
And again, I'm not going to argue that point. I would actually, I think that it's crazy to play two players close to half of your salary for the entire year. I agree. All I'm saying is maybe Jerry Jones is smarter than I am, because the Dallas Cowboys look fairly unstoppable right now.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, they look good. I'm not denying that.
So you got the longest touchdown by any team. I mean, I like CeeDee Lamb on that. I think that is probably a Cowboys one. Touchdown by any player, the most touchdowns. It could be CeeDee. The way Saquon was playing, it could be. Well, are we talking non-quarterback?
No, it's touchdowns
by your team. Could be
by
one by CeeDee, one by Zeke.
Dallas, definitely. Rushing yards, team total. I think I'd be a fool not to go with the Eagles.
I like it, Randy.
However,
I actually like, for rushing yards, I like your pick from last week. I think that's a good sneaky Redskins pick this week for this division.
I think
that quarterback, man, he can run.
Write that down, buddy. Write that down about yourself, because they're not going to run on us.
That's all right. Host picks. We got host picks. It's fine.
Write that down.
Minnesota didn't run on you either, did they?
No, it's going to be a totally different situation this week.
Yep, totally.
That team got disrespected, and I know they're getting chewed out. And I know Brian Burns and Thibodeau and them are better than that, and they're not going to let them guys run on us. They're not going to let that rookie quarterback beat us either. So, Mike, make sure you write that down so we can call you out next week.
Hey, Greg.
Put that down. Mike thinks Washington will lead.
Greg, I'm predicting another close game for the Eagles.
You're picking them as the team rushing, right?
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
I'm predicting another close game for the Eagles. I think the Eagles win, but I don't think they're going to blow them out.
So I'm going to use Randy logic here. If you're looking at the spreads and the Dallas is total score is 45, yet the Birds are 47.5, they must be predicting the Eagles to score more points than Dallas. So my pick
against a bum team, yeah.
Yeah, remember we already determined that New Orleans is significantly better than the Falcons.
Significantly
better.
I must have
1 week per Randy.
Remember?
Yeah, I must have missed that. Yeah, going against Carolina, going against Pittsburgh's defense. That seems about accurate, Randy. Definitely seems accurate. All right, so my predictions. I'm going to do the wheel real quick. Longest touchdown. I got to go A.J. Brown.
Okay.
Team touchdowns. I'm going with the Birds. I think we are going to put up some points on the Falcons. I think we are. I think the over-under proves 47.5. I'm going to take the over. I'll be at that game, so I'll be rooting loud. Hopefully we do hit that over.
I just want to point out real quick before you continue that this is
Yeah.
our second bet and gambling reference from our non-resident gambler, Craig Stanley.
Hey, I broke even
Continue.
last week. Broke even. Rushing yards team total. I like what Mike was saying there. I think sneaky Washington, but I'm going to take the Birds. I got to.
I love that. It's like you make excellent points, but you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think it's
Jeez.
going to actually be close. I think they are going to run the ball. I look at that Dallas team and I'm like, yeah, they're playing the Saints. What are the Saints? They just played the Carolina Panthers. Like, obviously, the Panthers are the worst team in the league. So the Saints.
I don't know if they're the worst team in the league.
Oh, they are the worst team by a large margin.
Yeah, I think they are.
I think the Giants are bad, but
the Munich game will be the toilet bowl.
Yeah, that is definitely the toilet bowl. You're 100% accurate. But it's funny, like Randy keeps talking up Dallas, and I can't help but think about it a little bit. Like he says on paper they're great, and
you shouldn't think about it too much.
Backs. Yeah,
because he's not using logic.
I don't think on paper.
I'm trying to figure out like who we should be afraid of other than your D line and CD Lamb. Because your running back is a 48-year-old Zeke and Dwaddle.
By the way, Greg, our running back was drafted 1 year before your running back.
Zeke was drafted 1 year before. Okay. I didn't know Zeke was so young. I mean, he just seems so old, and he's always hurt. A little bit more hurt than Barkley always.
He's a little bit fatter too. He's a little bit more in the Randy side.
A little slower.
I thought Zeke looked good. I think he lost weight.
I actually think he had a pretty half decent game. I mean, they split carries very much, but he had some really nice 13, 14-yard runs.
Stop. He looks like Bartola Colon. Like, just give it a couple weeks. Just give it a couple weeks.
That guy's a legend.
I love Bartola Colon. All of him.
The other thing that I'm like thinking about here, and Randy never brought this up, is like you have a brand new left tackle, you have a brand new center, both rookies. So it's like
which means we're just going to get better on the offensive line.
I don't see it. I know they're good. They played well. I'm not doubting them. I'm not downplaying the Cowboys. I'm just saying you may have more holes than you think you have. You may have more weak points than you think.
They usually show up later on in the season for the Dallas Cowboys, usually not early.
But with that said, I am going to take the Cowboys -6.5.
Good man.
I think I'm going to take Washington -1.5, and I'm taking the Birds -6.5. I'm taking all the home teams this week.
So when we pick these, we're doing it against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
It does. I mean, it doesn't really
usually
matter. It doesn't really matter. Chris, if you want to pick straight up, you can pick straight up.
All right.
Now, I'm a roaster or praise you guys for your right or wrong picks, no matter how you do it.
All right.
I mean, I think everybody personally I think every line is going to hit. And I don't know if that's the right term, but I think all three are going to cover. The Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Eagles are all going to cover. And when I say the Redskins are going to cover, it's a freaking 1.5. I mean, it's not like it's not a blowout win.
God, this is such a public group.
Why? What happened?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's a gambling term. You guys are betting with the public. Means you're all suckers.
Oh,
we're all suckers. Hey, man,
Vegas knows.
Paul,
Greg knows.
Paul, finish up your points here.
They didn't know when it came down to Dallas and Cleveland, obviously.
As far as the competition, I don't think any of the points are coming from the Giants-Redskins game. They're going to have to divvy that up between the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm not going to say who I think is going to get what. It's just I know who is not going to get what, and that's us. So I'm looking very much forward to the game. I am very confident in our ability to beat the Giants this week, more than I was last week. I was pretty humble. I mean, going in with a rookie quarterback, you got to be pretty humble, no matter what team you're playing. So I was pretty humble, but I'm pretty confident this week. Not overly confident, but not a blowout, nothing like that. But I'm confident. We're at home. There's a lot of things going for us, and I want to see if our rookie quarterback can play like he did last week. We got a really good chance to do it. The last point I want to make is this is a little bit of Diddy getting trivy with it. Yes, I just coined that term right there. So I want a little. I wanted to do this last week, but the host kind of shut me out. So this little trivia here. Stupid fact here on Michigan State Spartans. Since we're there's some Big Ten fans here. Their long snapper's God-given name is Jack Carson Wentz.
Nice.
Last name is Carson Wentz, not even hyphenated. It's Jack Carson Wentz, the long snapper, and he absolutely looks like the next school shooter.
You're out of control.
So
that's funny.
Those are my picks, and I can't think of anybody else who I think should round out this podcast at the end.
You'll be proud of me, buddy.
With a hard start here in about 10 minutes. Just make it a hard stop.
If nobody saw the initial version of Diddy's Digs on the baseball podcast, you need to go back and see that. It's one of the funniest 5 minutes of Paul on camera of every episode he's done.
It was great.
Say, listen, I enjoyed that wedding speech, Mike, and that was his best 5 minutes on camera to me.
Oh, finally. Thank you. Oh. All right, Randy, you got me. I am now a closet Eagles fan.
I've known that for years. I've known that for years too.
It used to be for 2 games, but because of Chris, it's now 4. But
now it's 4.
Yeah, it possibly will go back down to 2.
Told us that in the text group. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's because it was true.
Chris, get your picks in there.
All right, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna disagree with Paul. Obviously, I have to support my Giants in some way. I'm not going to support.
You squeaked a little when you said that.
You tell us, Bevy. What do you got,
The
Bevy?
problem is I'm going to agree with Paul 100%. I don't think anybody in our game. I was going to try to end it with some dumb shit and maybe say Hyatt, but he didn't do anything last week. So I'm not. I don't know what to expect. I know they got to get better. They got to do a lot of things better. I do expect the defense to get better. I have a lot of confidence in their defense, and I just think it's a bad combination for you with a rookie quarterback, an angry defense, a team that got embarrassed, and a team that is capable to get to your quarterback. So our defense is going to play well. I think we will win the game. The spread don't matter because we're getting the points. Dallas, New Orleans, I do think Dallas is going to win. I do think Dallas can cover the spread. New Orleans did play. They didn't play anybody, but I like Derek Carr more than he likes Derek Carr, more than Randy does. But he's not great. He's good. You put a good supporting cast around him, he's going to be good. Same thing about Kirk Cousins. Same thing about a lot of quarterbacks in this league. Philly.
Hold on.
Except one.
Is that true about Daniel Jones?
I've seen him play well. I've seen him win a playoff game. He better straighten it out in the next 2 weeks, or I'll be ready to.
All 4 of our teams have won a Super Bowl as well. That doesn't mean we all have great teams right now.
Yeah. So Philly and Falcons. This is where it gets tricky for me. I mean, I do expect the Falcons to play better. Philly does have a lot of talent. I do think there's a lot of problems there, but this is somebody they can beat. I think they win the game, but I think there's a chance they don't cover. That's just my opinion on that. Greg thinks they're like a dominant team on paper, which they are, but there's a lot of issues there. They didn't look that great. Hurts turns the ball over a lot. He's been turning over a ball a lot the last couple of weeks, like in the last year. Turns the ball over a lot. Barkley, he had a great game, man. He had 3 touchdowns, but 109 yards. How many of his runs does he get stuffed behind the line? How many runs does he go east and west and loses? He hits big plays. He hit a couple big plays. You take one of them away, he has under 100 yards. I've seen it all the time with the Giants. I love the guy. He's a great player. Me and Brandon used to go in after games going, man, it was only a couple plays though. He doesn't do it. He ain't gonna pound the ball and get 5 yards of carry and wear your defense out. This is not the type of guy he is. He wants to hit the home run. And
actually, he's averaging 4.5 yards a carry, but
just one game, buddy. And he always falls off as the year goes on. He does it with us every year. There's been plenty of games where he had 166 yards and 2 touchdowns and we lost, or 156 yards total and we won.
Well, you didn't have an A.J. Brown and a Devontae Smith.
It's fine. Well, if you didn't have a Saquon Barkley last week, you would have lost. You guys didn't look that good.
If we didn't have a Saquon Barkley, we wouldn't have ran the ball. We would have passed it around.
And then you talk
Maybe
about how
would've
bad
lost.
Jordan Love was. A lot of
No, we wouldn't.
quarterbacks played bad last week. Eagles didn't have nothing to do with him playing bad. It could have been the field. It could have been the first game back. I did hear Paul say Kirk Cousins played bad coming off a major injury. Daniel Jones is coming off the same major injury. That was his
That's a
first game
different
back.
injury.
I mean,
His was Achilles, and he spent his entire offseason
yeah,
in
but
a
dude, it's a
children's
major.
hospital,
It's a
not in a
major.
bathtub, like
It's a
just
major
making his
injury,
ones
dude.
rain.
And it's his first game back, and there's a lot of new. I'm not panicking over that game. So as for these like TDs rushing along with just a touchdown, I'm gonna give the TDs to Dallas. Rushing, I'm gonna give it to Philly. I think they'll win the rushing team
What
total.
about the running back by committee?
We got issues that we need to
They
solve.
are all supposed to add up.
Yeah.
But it's just too early, man. There's a lot of kinks we got to work out. It's just I'm not that confident in it right now. I think we'll win the game, but I think it's going to be mostly because of our defense.
Can you share with our audience all of the text messages that I get and all these guys get saying that your running back by committee is better than Saquon Barkley?
I think that's not what I'm saying. See,
That's exactly
That's
what
exactly
you said.
what you're saying.
That's exactly
Pretty
what you
much
said.
what you have
I think
said.
we're going to be in a better shape this year with a better offensive line and not having to worry about feeding him the ball.
Good
Nobody,
Lord.
like we don't have to
Does
worry about.
anybody
We got
talk
three
about
backs,
their offensive line?
and if
more
one of
than-
them gets hurt, we have a better offensive line than we did last year. And if one of them gets hurt, like if you lose Saquon, if Saquon gets hurt this week or next week, who you got?
We
Kenneth
have
Gainwell.
Kenny
Yeah,
Gainwell, Kenny
he
G.
sucks.
We got
Now you ain't gonna do nothing. You lose Saquon Barkley, you were better off keeping Swift because if you lose Saquon Barkley, just
but
like
if we lose Swift because he gets hurt,
yeah,
who do we have? Kenny G.
But the
That's my
idea
point.
you may lose Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley's a lot more injury
Dude, he
prone
wears
than-
out every year. You'll see
Got
by
it.
week 7 and 8, he ain't going to be doing nothing.
Because he's
You're gonna
been
be
the
very disappointed.
only part
He's
of
your only
offense
weapon.
the last 3 years.
He looked like
The
the only
only
part. He
offense.
looked like the only part of that Eagles offense last week.
He sure did.
So
He sure
AJ
did.
Brown has 5 catches for 120 and a touch. Devontae Smith has 8 catches for 89. Like that's nothing. Like what are you guys seeing?
No,
you're
you're
seeing
right.
what you want to see.
You're right.
Yeah,
I seen
thank you.
AJ
I'm
Brown
right.
take one in the house where
No,
big splash
Barkley's
plays.
were on minimal effort. Like he was,
Yeah.
it was not bruising runs.
Like I'm saying, guys, just let it play out. Let it play
All
out.
right.
It's 1 week. Longest touchdown. I would love to say Hyatt. I don't have any faith right now. This could be anything, man. This could be a Daniel Jones pick 6. This could be a punt return.
I pray it's a Daniel.
Pick
Jones.
sixes are good. If he's at the 1 yard line and throws a pick and it goes back,
But that wouldn't be for us.
No,
that
no.
would be for the other team.
We'll call,
That's
we'll
what
call
we
that a Daniel Jones touchdown.
It wouldn't help me. So
You-
as long as
you
it's
could eat
TD,
it.
Points for both teams.
I hope it's me. I hope it's me. I ain't going to even give one. I hope it's me, but I don't think it will be. That's my picks.
Well, that definitely sounded like dumb shit to me.
Hey,
Yep.
calling it like it is right now, man. I can't brag too much. Nothing. I didn't have anything good to talk about. Nothing happened. Nothing happened good for us.
You still
Yeah.
monopolized at least 40% of the podcast talking about where you didn't have anything to say.
The only good thing, like I said, neighbors, 66 yards. That was good for
My
debut.
text messages haven't slowed down.
So
and
what's
they're
your,
not going to. It doesn't
What's
matter.
your one
if
good
it's-
thing, Greg? What's your one good thing? You said I got one good thing for
one
you.
good thing. You're right, Chris.
Yeah.
I did say that.
You said all positive this week. You said
Listen,
all
I'm
positive.
going to be positive with you and the Giants. We brought you on the intervention. I
What was
think
the
we
good
worked
thing?
through some things. The good thing is your O-line, nobody got hurt, so you can't blame anything on the offensive line. No one got hurt on the O-line.
Our
It
line
actually
played
looked
well.
good. Yeah,
It
they
actually
looked very
did.
well.
The
That's why I
improved
got some hope.
O-line. The improved O-line.
Very,
Apparently,
very
we're
much
2
approved.
weeks away from blaming DJ, Greg. What we're all looking for.
Listen, I think we got something from Matt on the chat. He wants to know my thoughts on the rumors that Fly Eagles Fly chant is just a ripoff of Sweet Caroline. Matt, that's fake news, buddy. That's fake news. I don't see where this is a ripoff. You know, Fly Eagles
Frickin'
Fly on the road
Bostoners.
to victory.
Sounds like
Yeah.
another cheating
I'm a
scandal started
Boston fan, and I
in
never
New
thought
England.
that.
I'll be quite honest. It doesn't even have the same tune.
Yeah, that's
Nothing.
I
definitely.
mean, I
the
think
dumb
it's the
shit.
dumb.
There's that dumb
I do
shit.
think it's
Thanks,
the
Matt.
dumbest
Thanks,
chant in the world, but
That was good.
By the
We're
way,
gonna get out of here. Go ahead, Paul.
Kyle Schwarber just got hurt and left the game. Just letting you know.
Hey, wish me luck, fellas. I'm flying out of Florida. I'm flying to Florida
Max.
tomorrow on 9/11. I'm not a fan of
Oh.
that.
Good
Be
luck.
safe,
9/11.
Chris.
Thanks,
Be
buddy.
safe.
You said you're here for me. Just yeah.
Chip
We
your
are here
pilot.
for you.
I don't
Chip
care
your pilot.
about you. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you at the end of week 2 and when we're looking forward to week 3.
All right, fellas. I need one, G-Man, especially this week.